superheroes and supervillains, it's your friend Sean PVS 101. Welcome back to a new video on my YouTube channel. With the release of Despicable Me, for which I am so excited to see that movie in theaters real soon. Now my re-review of my Despicable Me reviews are still continuing on with I'm going to review on my YouTube channel is the second movie of the franchise, Despicable Me 2. Yes, people, today's movie review I'm going to review on my YouTube channel is Despicable Me 2. And this movie is directed by Peter Coffin and Chris Randolph. Once again, the same director who directed the first movie came back in the sequel. And it stars Steve Carell as Gru, Kristen Wiig as Lucy, Myrna Cosgrove as Margot, and other new cast members that joined in the sequel. And so the plot for Despicable Me 2, it takes place after the events of the first film, after Gru finally adopted the 3 orphan girls after they been rescued from the villain Vector. In this movie, we see Gru is trying to celebrate Agnes's happy birthday because Agnes planned a fairy tale-like birthday for Agnes. And then after the birthday party, Gru met a female agent named Lucy Wilde, voiced by Kristen Wiig, the same actress who voiced Miss Haggy from the first film, but now she plays a new character named Lucy Wilde, who is an agent character who works in the Anti-Villain League, while Lucy tried to bring Gru to the AVL, but then Gru accidentally shoot his freeze ray, but then she shoot his fire gun, and then she lipstick taser at Gru. Lipstick taser! After she lipstick taser at Gru, she bring Gru into her trunk, but then the minions followed Lucy Wilde's car, and then they bring the minions too, and then they bring Gru and the minions to work at the Anti-Villain League because of the director, Silence Ramsbottom, wants to hire Gru to work at the Anti-Villain League because of the laboratory in the Arctic has been stolen. Because of the Arctic lab got stolen by a giant plane magnet because of the laboratory features some serum 1 because it literally turn things into purple monsters. And then Silence Ramsbottom wants hired Gru to work at the AVL to take down a mysterious villain that stole the PRS serum. And then meanwhile, Gru was too busy working on his jams and jelly by Dr. Nefario, but then Dr. Nefario, Miss Evil, he quits and retires. And meanwhile, the girls want to go take Gru on a date because of Miss Jillian, Gru's neighbor, wants to take Gru on a date, but Gru disagrees. And then later on, Gru's go on his work to be with Lucy to go at a mall. And now it's up with Gru and Lucy trying to take down a villain named El Macho, while Gru wants to try to do his job right, and while Gru wants to fall in love with Lucy. And that's the plot for this movie. So after I watch Despicable Me 2, leading up to the anticipated Despicable Me 4, what do you think about this movie overall after I watch it yet again? I gotta say for this movie, I freaking adored this movie. Despicable Me 2 is a phenomenal sequel to the first movie because I still love the first Despicable Me movie to this day. I still adore that movie, but Despicable Me 2 is kind of even better than the first movie because Despicable Me 2 have more of a new story. The characters are even more fleshed out and more likable. The animation got a huge upgrade from the first movie, and even the main protagonist, Gru, has got to be the most well-developed character I've seen in a sequel. I love and adore Despicable Me 2. It's easily the best one of the sequels and the best Despicable Me film ever. I have some wonderful times seeing this movie in theaters because I didn't see the first movie in theaters because I only see it at home during Christmas of 2010. And then I see the sequel in summer of 2013. I was 10 years old. I had a blast seeing the second movie in theaters. I have some fun memories about it. And now, watching it again as an adult, I was 21 years old, leading up to the fourth movie. I still adore this movie to this day. I thought this movie was a phenomenal movie. It's easily the best Illumination movie, along with the first one, Minions, Rise Gru, and even the Super Mario Bros. Movie as Illumination's best movie today. I still had a blast watching this second movie to this day. Easily the best one. So yeah, let's begin the review, shall we? The story and the writing for this movie, I personally love the storytelling of Despicable Me 2, because we see the main protagonist, Gru, voiced by Steve Carell again in this movie, trying to be a good dad to the three orphan girls, but then he got some nice upgrade to the movie because he now worked at the Anti-Villain League with his new partner, later on become love interest, Lucy Wilde, voiced by Kristen Wiig, hired Gru to work at the Anti-Villain League to take down an unknown villain that stole the pure serum one at the lab named El Macho. Sorry about a little spoiler, but I freaking love the storytelling for this movie because it felt very unique and original. I do love the storytelling for this movie because I feel like I just love some side plots. I love the main plot when Gru is trying to take down this unknown villain named El Macho, proves he stole the PS Serum 1, and also I love the relationship plotline with Gru is trying to fall in love with Lucy. Also, I love the funny plot of when Margot is trying to go on a date with that boy named Antonio. I like the side plots. At least the side plots in the second film worked, in my opinion. They don't feel dragged on. They feel right. I just really like and love the storytelling for this movie because I just love to see the main character Gru learn to become a fleshed out character in this movie because we see Gru is trying to become an agent character, wants to solve who stole the PS Serum 1. It was El Macho, but I was very rooting for Gru in this movie because he wants to get the mystery right. And because he's got to be the most smartest character of the whole movie because he knows up to something no good from the villain El Macho because of El Macho is planning something very unknown because he stole Gru's minions to turn them into purple monster and then trying to take over the world. I was rooting for Gru in this movie because he's got to be the most smartest character of the whole movie because he solved this mystery correctly. Because as the audience, I'm with Gru in this movie because I'm the only one seeing some things connected. So yeah, I personally love the storytelling for this movie. It is very fresh and unique. Even the animation got a huge upgrade, and I still love the animation from the first movie. That film still hold up for the animation, but in this one, the second movie animation got a huge upgrade because of I love the new models and textures of the characters. It reminds me of the Lorax film, which I really like the animation from the Lorax film. I think it works in the second Despicable Me film. I still adore the character designs. They're very unique and creative. I love the models of the characters, of the faces and the clothing. The backgrounds are so gorgeous to look at. I love some of the new areas and locations like the AVL's submarine headquarters. The mall is so beautiful, and even the villain's lair, El Macho's lair was so awesome and badass. I love the new areas and locations of the second Despicable Me movie. At the animators at Illumination Entertainment did still a phenomenal job with the visuals of the animation. And also, the action sequences are so much fun and very exciting. It's gotta be the best action scenes I've seen in a Despicable Me movie. I love the chase sequences. I love some of the fight scenes, especially in the third act of the movie when Gru is trying to take down those purple monster minions and then trying to take down the villain El Macho, and then trying to rescue Lucy from the missile to the volcano. I was very edge of my seat how fantastic this climax is, because I was edge of my seat how intense the action scenes were. It is very awesome and a lot of fun. Also, the humor is still funny and hilarious to this day. I freaking love the humor in this movie. I was busting a laughing, like in the birthday party scene when Gru dressed up and dragged as a fairy princess. I just love Gru's wearing a princess outfit, trying to impress Agnes and the girls for her birthday. I was bust laughing if I see Gru in a fairy princess outfit. And also, another funny part I love is the flashback scene when Gru is a little kid at an elementary school and trying to impress a girl when Gru says, "Excuse me, Lisa?" "Hey, Lisa, I was wondering," and then she touched her, and then the girl's like, "Ew! Gru touched Lisa! Gru touched Lisa! Ew! Lisa's got grounded!" Oh my god, that joke never gets old. And also, the Minions humor, I was still laughing to this day, like when Ramsbottom says, "I am Delicto, silence Ramsbottom." Bottom. Hilarious. Also, another funny Minion part I love is after Gru burned his phone using a flamethrower, and then the minions trying to be like fighter fighters, and then when the minion trying to take down the fire, then the other minion going, "Bido, bido, bido, bido." Oh my gosh, I was so laughing and chuckling of the minions' humor, because I still think the minions are not that bad. I think they're pretty entertaining. I still like these yellow dudes to this day. And also, I just love some funny moments of the movie. I think they're very hilarious to this day, because I think the humor in this one has to be the funniest one of the whole franchise to this day. Also, let's talk about the characters, shall we? Personally, I still love all the characters. All the characters are very lovable, likable, funny, and charming. Let's talk about the characters, shall we? First, we have my favorite character of the whole movie, Phenolius Gru, voiced by Steve Carell. I freaking adore Steve Carell as the character of Gru. He is still the best character of the whole movie. But in this movie, I still adore Gru in this movie, because we see Gru went from a supervillain moment in the first movie to becoming a heartwarming dad to the girls, and even becoming a anti-hero agent working with Lucy in the second movie. I personally love Gru in this movie as an agent, because when Gru is trying to solve the mystery in case who stole the PS Serum 1 serum from the villain El Macho, I love Gru's character arc in this movie. We see Gru trying to solve the case from the situation from the PS Serum 1, also trying to fall in love with Lucy from throughout the movie, and also trying to help Agnes practice her Mother Day show. I freaking love Gru in this movie, because while he has some of the funny moments, but Gru still has the heart and charm to this character, which I was very loving so far, because I just love Gru in this movie, because his character has so much heart and depth in this movie, because Gru loves Lucy so much, because when he's trying to go to the mall to see her, but then suddenly Floyd Eaglesign has been arrested because he's been framed, and then later on Lucy's flying away to Australia when Gru's now sad. You feel bad for Gru in this movie, because we see his character Gru in this movie, because went from evil villain to a lovable character. I still really adore Gru in this movie to this day. He is easily the most well-written and most developed character I've seen in an animated sequel to this day. Also, other characters like the three orphan girls, Margot, Edith, and Agnes, they are still adorable to this day. I love them so much because they trying to go take Gru on a date, and then Gru disagrees, but I still love the three orphan girls. I still love Margot, I still love Edith, and I love Agnes. I love them all. And also, I still love Margot to this day. Moira Cosgrove is still phenomenal as his character, and also, I just feel bad for Margot. Got a little broke up with her boyfriend Antonio throughout the movie, because when she met the El Macho's son at the mall scene, I feel bad for Margot. Went from falling in love with this character in the single Day party scene, broke up. I feel bad for Margot in this movie. So yeah, I still love the three orphan girls. They're still adorable to this day. Also, let's talk about the other characters. Let's talk about Dr. Nefario, voiced by Russell Brand. Personally, I still like Dr. Nefario because he is the scientist who created Gru's jelly, this new experiment. And later on, when Dr. Nefario is retirement from evil, I feel bad for Dr. Nefario because he missed being evil from his supervillain days with Gru, while Gru is becoming an anti-hero, and then suddenly later on, Dr. Nefario works with the villain of the movie El Macho, created these purple monster minions, and later on we see Nefario was shocked to see El Macho kidnapped by Lucy, and El Macho is angry at Lucy. He's working for the AVL, and then he's now come back to Gru and helped take down the villain of the movie. I love Dr. Nefario. He's still lovable and likable. Also, I still love the minions to this day, even in this movie. This gotta be the most funniest ones in this movie so far, because of the minions has to be the funniest one in this movie so far, because I like some funny moments with these characters, like when he sees Silence Ramsbottom, when the minion says "bottom" and they speak in a laugh. Oh my gosh, it never gets old. Also, I just love some moments when the minions trying to take down the fire after Gru burns his phone. It is still hilarious to this day. I think the minion shenanigans are very hilarious to watch. Let's talk about the new characters, shall we? First, we have Kristen Wiig as Lucy Wilde. Wow. Just wow. I freaking love Lucy Wilde in this movie because she's got to be the best female character of the whole franchise, alongside of Scarlet Overkill as one of the most beautiful female characters of Despicable Me. I personally love Lucy Wilde as Gru's new partner / wife in this movie. I freaking love Lucy Wilde. She's got to be the most lovable and likable characters of the whole movie because she's Gru's new wife / partner at the AVL. I love her so much to this very day. I was smiling throughout the movie. She is so much fun and very heartwarming. I just love her. I love her interaction between her and Gru. I just really have a fun time with their chemistry. It never gets old. I very love their relationship together. I freaking ship them. I still really love the character of Lucy Wilde. I just love her interaction with her and Gru. And then she tried to lipstick taser on Gru, and she says, "Lipstick taser!" I personally adore Lucy Wilde to this day. Her and Fenolius Gru gotta be the best characters of the whole franchise because Lucy Wilde is a bit better character than Miss Haggy from the first movie, because at least Kristen Wiig's character, Lucy Wilde, is her better role than Mrs. Haggy from the first movie, in my opinion. Other new characters I really like Mrs. Jillian. Mrs. Jillian is such a funny and likable character to Gru because she is Gru's neighbor trying to take Gru on a date. I really like Mrs. Jillian so much. She is so much fun and very likable. And also I like Shannon, who is Gru's mean date. When Miss Shannon's going on a date with Gru, and then she really hates phonies because of Gru's wearing a wig. Shannon is very funny. I really like Shannon. I know she's a bit rude and mean, but Shannon is very funny to this day. I like her line when she says, "I hate phonies!" That line never gets old. And also, fun fact, this is the same actress who voiced by Mabel Pines from Gravity Falls. The same actress who voiced Mabel Pines in Gravity Falls is in a Despicable Me movie. Also, I still love the new characters like Silence Ramsbottom. Silence Ramsbottom is a very likable character. I like Silence Ramsbottom because he is the director of the leader of the Anti-Villain League. I like Silence Ramsbottom. I know he's barely in this movie, but I still like the character this day. And also, let's talk about another best character of the second movie, which is the main villain, El Macho. Wow, freaking wow. El Macho has got to be the highlight of the second movie because he is the main villain who is a Mexican like wrestler villain who steals some stuff, and then later on he took his own life riding a shark with some fireworks and landing on a volcano. Personally, I freaking adore El Macho. He is the highlight of this movie because he wants to steal the PS Serum 1 at a laboratory with his flying magnet ship. Personally, that was a very awesome vehicle, and also I love his motivations when he is trying to steal Gru's yellow minions to turn them into horrified purple monsters of the version of the minions, and wants to send the minions on his little rocket ship to take over the world and let the whole city get eaten. I really love the villain of this movie, El Macho. And also I really like some moments with El Macho with Gru during the Cinco de Mayo Day party scene when Gru is feeling depressed. He is missing his partner Lucy, and then when El Macho is trying to cheer Gru up at the party. Personally, I do like some nice moments between Gru and El Macho about they're becoming lone survivors as villains, and then after El Macho tell Gru enjoy the party, he leaves the room and go to his lair. I really love his entrance lair. When I just love his elevator entrance. It's very unique and creative. Also, I really love his evil lair. Like, I just love his plane magnet-like vehicle. It is very creative, and also I love his action sequences from his flashback and also in the climax of the movie when he drinks the PS Serum 1 and turns to a purple monster version of himself trying to kill Gru. He is a very threatening villain in my opinion. He's got to be the most threatening villain I've seen in a Despicable Me movie because he was trying to kill Gru and then Gru saves the day and lipstick taser him. Yeah, I freaking love El Macho so much. He is even more threatening as a villain than Vector from the first movie. Personally, don't get me wrong, I still love Vector from Despicable Me 1. He is still the highlight of the first movie as a villain, but in this one, El Macho's got to be the threatening villain I've seen in a Despicable Me movie because he almost tried to kill Lucy and Gru in the climax, which you feel almost scared for him how much of a threatening villain he is. Personally, I love the character so much. He has got to be the highlight of the second movie. So one more thing, I really like El Macho's son, which is Margot's boyfriend throughout the movie, but then end up breaking up. I like El Macho's son. He is pretty cool and funny. Overall, guys, I adore Despicable Me 2. Easily one of the best Illumination films, along with the first one, the Mario Bros. Movie, and The Rise of Gru as Illumination's best movie, and the best one of the sequels, Despicable Me sequels. I love Despicable Me 2 so much this day with amazing storytelling, lovable and likable characters, beautiful animation, funny humor, and very awesome and creative animation. Overall, this has got to be the best one of the Despicable Me sequels and the best one of the franchise. I give Despicable Me 2 a phenomenal 10 out of 10. this movie still hold up to this day. Well, that's it for my movie review on Despicable Me 2. I hope you liked this movie review. Give me a like and subscribe. Subscribe to my channel. Comment down below with this movie. And who is your favorite new character of Despicable Me 2? For me, mine is Lucy Wilde and the villain El Macho. Comment down below, and I'll see you in the next movie review, and get totally